Women travel solo for many reasons. For some, it's to broaden their horizons. For others, it's to work, and for many, it's both. More people are choosing to work remotely, and many have become digital nomads who travel to and work from destinations worldwide. As digital nomadism rises in popularity, it's important to understand the social issues that have contributed to this lifestyle, and how female solo travelers and digital nomads have unique challenges from the stereotypical digital nomad, the white American male, a majority of them working in high-tech positions, commonly referred to as bromads. This is a series about women, made by women, for women, and those who want to understand why we choose this lifestyle. Female solo travelers differ from female digital nomads in one obvious way: work, yet they experience similar challenges, particularly those concerning safety and unwanted attention, particularly from men. Another main challenge is getting others to understand why we choose this lifestyle without clearly understanding the benefits of both traveling and or working alone to places often far from family and friends. This is often more difficult for women who traditionally were expected to stay home, raise a family, and in some cultures are unaccustomed to women traveling alone by choice. People living in urban areas will be able to relate to the housing crisis, a market where a single female cannot afford to live in her own space, and most anyone can relate to the increased cost of living. These social issues perpetuate the need to live in areas with a lower cost of living, and although businesses have been slow to adapt, the digital age has made it increasingly easier to work remotely. Those who grew up in the digital age, Millennials and Generation Z, the largest two generations ever, are more likely to embrace non-traditional lifestyles that allow them to act on their passion for expanding their horizons through travel or just working in a stress-free, low-cost environment without a long commute. The internet has made foreign cultures more accessible. Combined with YOLO and FOMO, more people are interested in exploring foreign countries. Yet there remains a common misconception about remote work, whether from home or as a digital nomad, that doesn't recognize that we often work long hours and are more productive than workers who commute, except in Goa. There is growing concern by hosting countries, the countries where digital nomads work from, about sustainability. Female solo travelers and digital nomads tend to be interested in slow, sustainable travel, ecotourism, or volunteering, so it's important to remember that travel is much different than tourism. Other countries, such as Thailand, recognize the economic advantage of hosting digital nomads, now issue special visas that allow them to work during their stay. In this series, we're going to meet and chat with female solo travelers and digital nomads to learn about the reasons they choose to travel solo, the challenges they face, and the ways they overcome those challenges. From isolation and safety to packing light and finding reliable Wi-Fi, you will learn how experienced female solo travelers and nomads deal with these and other challenges as they conquer their fears and the world. One of the main challenges for both the female solo traveler and digital nomad is isolation, particularly if their families and friends hold strong to their traditional and limiting beliefs. Fortunately, there is solace in the many virtual groups and resources on social media, some of which have in-person meetups.
I'm in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I'm a freelance journalist and I've been a nomad or location independent since January 2013. I'm currently staying in a homestay, I guess you could call it. I'm now working primarily on my own website, Changing Times, and that's become my main focus really. So what I'm finding with being a nomad is that I can keep my expenses down to a real bare minimum. Obviously, I have to pay for flights and accommodation, but I've chosen to be in Southeast Asia, which is, of course, much cheaper than being in Europe. So it means that I can actually completely focus on the writing I want to do. I'm on the move a lot of the time. I guess Kuala Lumpur's become a kind of center point for me because it's very handy to get to other places. I can speak English here a lot. In Malaysia, you can get a 3-month visa and then they'll actually extend for Europeans for a couple of months. So it's quite a handy place to have as a center point. But I go in and out of Malaysia all the time. I spend a lot of time in Indonesia. I go to Australia quite a lot. I was just in Europe for 3 months. One of the things that I'm finding that's very different now to the traveling I used to do before, when I still had a home base in Europe, is that it's a very different lifestyle. When you're just traveling for 2 or 3 months, you pack it in and you run around and you kind of know that you're going back somewhere, so you do as much as you can. When you're actually a full-time nomad, it's a different lifestyle. You don't have to rush around so much. Obviously, you need to be working unless you have unlimited savings. So I find that I move more slowly. And actually, Malaysia is such a fascinating country that I spend a lot more time here than I thought I would. But that's fine because I'm still moving around as much as I would like. And also when you're going from one climate to another, perhaps Australia in winter to Kuala Lumpur, which is always hot, you have to have footwear. You can't just have, I really admire these people who can go around in a pair of flip-flops the whole time. I can't do that. I'm working. When you're on the road, you need to be getting enough sleep. You need to be looking after your health. What I would say to women is don't worry, get out there and just be as careful as you can. But we simply cannot, stop ourselves traveling because of fear. You have to try not to be scared, but be careful. We need to be putting out the stories that are the good stories. And like you say, the people who've helped us along. One thing I would say to people who are traveling, don't bury yourself in your pad, your mobile phone. Put the phone away, look around you, chat to the guy sitting next to you, the woman sitting next to you on the underground. I think that could be something that's whenever we look around a train carriage or an underground carriage, everybody's on the phone. It's like, don't forget that one of the things about traveling that is fantastic is to meet people, to see people. It's we have to get off those phones. Yeah, and don't move too quickly. Take time to sit in the cafe, have a cup of tea, don't rush around, and don't always be taking photos. Like, look at stuff. Don't just take the selfie and post the photo. Connect. We can learn so much out there. There's so much to learn. There really is.
Recent projections indicate that there will be 1 billion digital nomads by 2035. The average age of the female solo traveler is 47 and is expected to rise. While a smaller portion of digital nomads are female, the majority of them travel solo. Most digital nomads, in fact, most remote workers, work freelance, and more women are interested in solo travel than men. Europe remains the most popular destination, followed by the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. Most female solo travelers prefer a wellness-oriented retreat over a city or beach trip. Budget remains the most significant factor in solo travel, and while digital nomads tend to save more than those who commute to work, the pay gap remains. However, women account for over 80% of all consumer purchases and represent the majority of online purchases, and also make 80% of all travel decisions, regardless if they travel alone, with a partner, or a group. Travel broadens our horizons and helps foster empathy and unity across borders. Women who are inspired to travel alone and or want to work as a digital nomad should be encouraged, empowered, and supported. While Generation Z is inclined to save money rather than spend on experiences, as with millennials, travel and working as a digital nomad is often cheaper than living in most of the West, including the US and Europe, and can often offer a better quality of life, or at least a broadened perspective.